Hello everybody, my name is Christian Paleantonini, and today I'm going to be doing a project on the life, times, and contributions to the areas of math, astronomy, and even musical theory of Claudius Ptolemy, who lived in Egypt, he was born in Egypt under the rule of the Roman Empire around 100 AD. My sources are www.britannica.com, www.wikipedia.com/Ptolemy, and www.thefamouspeople.com/profiles. I will not be quoting directly from any of these sources. I will be rewriting the information I find in my own words, and I pray you enjoy. Also, I'm going to act out a little skit, a funny one, of what I think a scene in Ptolemy's childhood school would be like. And since very little is known about that, it's going to be very interesting. Claudius Ptolemy was born around the year 100 AD in Egypt, which at that time was under the rule of the Roman Empire. He possessed both Greek heritage, not both, I apologize. He possessed Greek heritage and was one of science's outstanding figures in his contributions to the areas of math, astronomy, and even musical theory. He lived in Alexandria, Egypt, and wrote several scientific treatises that laid the foundations for some of the developments seen in the Byzantine, Islamic, and even European societies. He held full Roman citizenship and wrote all of his famous and science-changing writings in Koine Greek. And I will add as a side note that some of these, as we will discover later in this project, some of these discoveries that he made, especially in the areas of geography, led to the discovery of America as we see it today. Now, as I mentioned earlier, very little is known about both Ptolemy's early education, and his early personal life. Although we know that he was trained extensively in math, science, and astronomy, and that he received his formal education and training in Alexandria, he often, in his works later in life and early in life, would cite and studied the works of an early geographer called Marinus of Tyre and a famous astronomer, Hipparchus. Now, please forgive me for all my nervousness in this project, and forgive me for any in this skit, but I prepared a little skit, a comedic one, from what I think a scene in Ptolemy's childhood would have been like in his school. So his professor is standing here and he's like, "Okay, Ptolemy, you have everyone in the class, you have a test on math today. Everyone, you have 50 minutes. Counting now." And Ptolemy's sitting here like this. "Done." Ptolemy's teacher, "It's only been 10 seconds. Looks at his paper, and they're all correct. "Oh my, you are going to make great contributions one day to the area of math, Ptolemy." "I am very excited to, teacher." And that's my little skit, and I apologize if it was terrible. I know it was terrible, but that's all I could muster. Anyway, so as far as his personal life and his early education, all we know is that he was trained extensively in the fields he was proficient at, which were math, science, and astronomy, and that he received his education and his training in Alexandria. Ptolemy's early discoveries were his significant discoveries in the area of geography, and he published his findings in a treatise called Geographia on cartography. He also designed more efficient methods for creating maps, and his discoveries in the field of geography were used later by Christopher Columbus to discover America. Now, on a side note I mentioned earlier, if Ptolemy had not discovered the new methods for cartography and for implementing geography as we know it today and as they knew it in Christopher Columbus' time, America and the United States America would not have been discovered, and we would not live in the beautiful country that we do today, and in my opinion. And some more of his early discoveries is he presented that the Earth is in a stationary sphere in the center of a larger sphere, which was celestial nature, and these revolve perfectly uniform around Earth, and they carry the stars and the planets with them. He introduced also the table of lengths and chords to the area of trigonometry, and he made many discoveries in the area of musical theory. And I like to think that a lot of the music today we enjoy and listen to, whether that be Ariana Grande, Katy Perry, or Selena Gomez, if Ptolemy hadn't discovered some of the inventions to music theory that he did, we might not have been able to then enjoy them as we do today. As far as Ptolemy's personal life, very little is known except that he was trained in Alexandria and that he wrote his writings in Koine Greek. But as of his later discoveries, one of his later works in the area of astronomy was the development of the Ptolemaic system, which is a unified system of heavenly bodies to their own spheres and sets of spheres, and whose nest, so they extend without gaps from Earth, is to the celestial sphere. And I know it seems like I'm reading directly from the source, but I promise you, I am not. I rewrote it all in my own words. I'm just using prompts. And another one is he applied fundamental theorems in spherical trigonometry, though some say this was discovered 50 years later by Menelaus of Alexandria. And his discoveries in this area were applied to the solution of many of the basic math problems that we do today. And I like to think that even though these math problems tortured us as kids, we would not have been able to solve them as easy as we do today if he hadn't discovered the solutions to many of these basic math problems. And he has also established the principle of visual perception by measuring angles of incidence and using curved mirrors that were set on discs on graduate degrees. The legacy of Ptolemy is dynamic, and the contributions that he has made to astronomy, math, geography, musical theory, even optics, has changed the world forever and has altered the development of science in many different cultures. I mean, he published a star catalog and created the earliest surviving tables of trigonometric function, and he established mathematically that an object and its mirror image must make equal angles to a mirror. That is one of his legacy and his impacts on the world. His discoveries in the area of geography and cartography led to many significant discoveries in later years, including heavily influencing, as I mentioned earlier, the discoveries of Christopher Columbus and his discovery of America. Ptolemy was an amazing and intellectual scientist, a mathematician, and astronomer, and the impacts that he has made to our world, to our home, America, and to our studying system has been dynamic, and his legacy lives on today.